Can you hear me now? Yeah, I think you can hear me now. Can you hear me now? There it is. I think you can hear me now. Can you hear me now? There it is. I think you can hear me now. Yeah, I think that's it was all the way down. Can you hear me now? Yeah, I think that's it was all the way down. Yeah, I think that's it was all the way down. So yeah, I think that's all the way down. So yeah, I think that's all the way down. So what's missing out of here? Yeah, I think that's missing out of here. Out of here. What the hell that noise? What the hell that noise? Probably because I'm playing myself. Can you hear me? Yeah. So
what they call spillage into a lower classification level. And when that's done, the procedures are basically to remove any of the communication.
You're going to silo it. So, you, Mr. Elizondo, you said in your report and your
It's time to jack up your lifestyle with a standby generator from GenPro. We sell and maintain all major generator brands. Today we're on site with a customer who brings this Stratton air-cooled generator installed. I had a very positive experience working with team. They're very professional, very thorough.
I
and
can't.
I'm very pleased.
Say you can't click on that.
Enough is enough. Get a Gem Pro
Can't get
generator,
rid of the.
no matter what.
How do you cut the?
Are you tired and frustrated of creating good SEO content that doesn't drive you any organic clicks and is just buried in Google search results? Join me on July the 8th at 4 p.m. EST, where I'll break down the exact reasons why that is happening to your content and your website and what you can do about them. Click the link in the description below, and I look forward to seeing you on the live webinar.
And if you know, if you have an explanation, I'm curious because I know what I've been told. I just want to know from your perspective, why do they overclassify? Mr. Elizondo, you look like you're finger on the button, ready to go.
Yes, sir. Forgive me. I think there's several reasons. I think at the time when this reality became evident to the U.S. government, we were in the middle of the Cold War with then Soviet Union, and we did not want to tip our hands to what our knowledge base was on this topic. We did not want to broadcast that to.
The Cold War's long over.
It is, sir. It is, sir. There's also then the philosophical argument that the Department of Defense and the intelligence community is solution oriented. And when you don't have answers, it's a really tough spot to be in.
It's easier to be quiet and suppressed than if you don't have the answer.
Indeed, sir. In fact, there's a very real example when we built a U-2 spy plane and flew it over then Russia, and we're taking reconnaissance. And when we first started
It's not
flying,
showing me that it's live.
we thought they weren't tracking us. In reality, they were tracking every flight. It wasn't until the Russians could develop the SA-2 surface-to-air missile and successfully shoot.
I would suggest to you also, along with Lakatos and Kuhn, you also have a problem with Kenneth Arrow's path dependence and increasing returns. That's one reason why they won't disclose it. It's too painful to admit. But I just want to read a couple of things from Mr. Schellenberger's what he gave to us today, because I think this is interesting stuff, and I just want to convey this to you. On USG networks, there exists infrared footage of and imagery of a grouping of vessels engaged in SIGINT and
It's not showing me that I'm live.
specific area of the Pacific Ocean. This footage, which was in close proximity to the vessels, a large equilateral triangle UAP suddenly appears directly over the ships. These three bright points are seen at each bottom corner of the UAP, which is observed to slowly rotate on its horizontal axis. And he goes on to describe that. And I just want to read one more, and I'm doing
Why
this.
is it not showing me?
I think it's interesting. This stuff is interesting as anything. So let's get this one here, right here. While performing a routine airspace surveillance and control mission in the Eastern Air Defense Sector, an F-22 fighter observed multiple UAP contacts at mission altitude. Moving to intercept the F-22 pilot noted multiple metallic orbs slightly smaller than a sedan hovering in place. Upon vectoring towards the UAPs, a smaller formation of the metallic orbs accelerated rapidly. Established radar locks on the presumed hostile UAPs. The F-22 broke trajectory and attempted to evade, but was intercepted and boxed in by approximately 3 to 6 UAPs. And then I'll leave that there, but because I just have no more time left. Well, she's not looking. So let's just get into let's get into part of this.
I thought it would be saved by the bell.
No. Let's talk about Kuhnian, Lakatoshian type of scientific development. And the problem that we have here is you have institutional blockage of what would be normal development of scientific ideas. And if you want to expand on Mr.
We're over time, so be very fast, please.
I'll just say I'm a recovering attorney, so please take it easy on the science, but all breakthroughs have been heretical at first, and that's the challenge that we face, particularly with something as extraordinary as this, which is why gathering the data. Overclassification of material is no way limited to UAP. That is occurring throughout the government, as well as the inability to get people classifications in a timely and efficient manner, and then to have those classifications be broad enough to be useful. So this is a larger issue that I hope this Congress will.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Banks. You've been generous. All right, Mr. Burleson, I'll recognize you for 5 minutes for questions, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Elizondo, does any branch of the United States government or defense contractors possess technology?
Sir, there's documentation that I believe was submitted for the record that was approved for release by the U.S. Pentagon, by the Department of Defense Office of Pre-Publication Security Review. And it states one of the reasons why my predecessor program, OSAP, was trying to collect material of unknown origin.
Was it successfully collected?
Was not. What happened is that there was an aerospace contract company that requested to divest itself of the material that was collected in 1950s. Unfortunately, that didn't actually occur.
So let's dive into that. That's the Bigelow Aerospace, correct? So
Yes, sir.
There was a journalist, Christopher Sharp, who said that there was a transfer between Lockheed Martin, Bigelow Aerospace, and the CIA allegedly blocked this. Can you describe that?
What I can say is that it was blocked. Why it was blocked, I can only surmise. I was part of some conversations later on with some of those contract personnel where they had told all of us that is accurate. What we required was a memo from the Secretary of the Air Force in order to make that complete, and that never occurred. And so when Secretary Mattis became Secretary of Defense, I decided it would be appropriate for me to try to receive a memo from him as SecDef, as Secretary of Defense, if we could not get a memo from the Secretary of the Air Force to transfer that material.
So if that material exists today, who's in possession?
Sir, I wouldn't be able to have that conversation in an open hearing. We'd probably have to have that.
Okay, my question to you then is, if we were in a secure setting, if we were in a SCIF, would you be able to provide or get access to something, whether it's visuals or material that we can put our hands on, or biologics, that would convince me, that would show me that we have non-human origins?
Sir, that decision would not be mine. That would be to the gatekeeper still in the U.S. government.
And who would we, so if you were in our shoes, where would you go from here? How would you get that information? A lot of times we just don't know who to ask because we don't know.
How do you make
next? So
the
if
video?
you were in our
Do you have a car? And do you have a clean driving record? Did you know you could pay as low as $19 a month in car